I'm on the bow of an Axopar 22 Suntop. There's an awesome little day boat with lots and lots of clever design. Let's go and have a look. Let's start in this aft cockpit area where you can see we've got this C-shaped seating configuration. This is actually available in another configuration where you've got a large lounge in the middle, but I quite like this because it gives you the option of putting in a table support here, which you can then also infill and make this one large lounging area when you're at anchor, which I think is very, very useful. But it also means that you've got this very large storage locker. So you can see you've got your batteries, heaps of space in there. You could put some wakeboards, you could put all sorts of sea toys in there, inflatables. Very, very useful space. And there's heaps and heaps of storage dotted around here as well. You can see under here we've got storage and some access to some switching, but they've also got these open storage spaces, which I think are a very clever idea. That would be perfect, and you don't have to you can just reach your hand underneath there and grab things. You could grab wakeboards, you could grab water skis, because of course this boat is fitted with a ski pole, so this is perfect. The 200 horsepower V6 Mercury will get you along, about 45 knots. There are smaller engine options available, but 45 knots adequate to be zooming around, having all sorts of fun with friends and family. And when you're not zooming around, you could be sitting in this area here having a great old time. You'll need things like a fridge and somewhere to keep wet things. And the clever thing about this boat is underneath the helm seats you've got a fridge, and that's a really good sized fridge. Actually, you get tons of food and drink in there. And they've even thought to put let's unlock it. They've even thought to put a little sink underneath here. Super, super clever. You can see dotted around that we've got the Fusion stereo speakers, lots and lots of cup holders, lots of grab rails, which I think is really important when you're zooming around, particularly if you're taking, smaller people out, kids. You want plenty of space and people to be able to hang on. The T-top is fantastic. It's this structure that's these extruded aluminium here and like a marine canvas material here, but this stretches almost the full way, all the way to the back of the aft cockpit. So plenty of shade, which is the intended purpose of adding those to this boat. Other things you might notice, you can see there in the bulwarks, they've got some molded little footsteps. So if you're jumping up onto a quay or pulling up to another boat or a larger boat, that just makes it much easier. You get a foothold, you can step out quite easily from the boat. Really, really nice. There's some very, very clever things that Axopar have done with this boat. And let me just show you what some of those things are. Can you see there? There's like a thumb screw. Well, why would there be a thumb screw on the sides of the windscreen? Well, the answer to that is this. When I'm sitting at the helm, like I am now, that windscreen gives me all the protection from wind and spray that I need. But what if I want to drive the boat standing up? Well, what you can do, I won't do it, but you can come along, you can unscrew this, and you can actually push that windscreen to a more upright position. So from a standing position, I'm getting the same kind of wind and spray protection. Very, very, very clever design. While we're at the helm, you can see it's fitted with a 12-inch Simrad display. We've got there's the bow thruster here, the trim tab controls, that lovely sort of sporty looking steering wheel, the Fusion stereo. There's a dual waterproof USB charger. You'll want that, of course, when you're out in the water all day playing your songs. All of your electrical switches up here for things like lights, bilges, all of those things that you'd expect, all at hand. And with the engine throttle, nice and convenient. So all in all, a very, very comfortable place to control the boat, and some very, very, very nice looking helm seats as well. I love that diamond pattern on the stitching. Very, very good looking. And did I mention that these both swivel around so that when obviously you're not driving the boat, you can be part of the socialising space behind you. Or you might choose to swivel one around and act as a lookout if you've got people behind you on inner tubes or skis. Very clever design. But let's move forward, because I think what they've done at the bow here is fantastic. So you've got a couple of options here. You can see here that you've got seating for a couple of people with cup holders, grab rails. So again, that's super important. But you've also got an option here to add a little picnic table, which is fantastic. You can lift up here, you can see here you've got access here into some of the pumps, etc. But that's also a nice storage well, so you always want to have as much storage as you can on day boats like this. You've got access up here to the anchor locker. If I pull that open, you can see that it's a nice big anchor locker for your ropes, etc. And you can just throw that over the front. Now you can actually commission these with some handrails to the port and starboard side here, and that would allow you, if you want to beach the boat, then you just to be able to come straight up and walk and jump straight off the front of the boat very, very comfortably like that. So that's one way you can commission these Axopar 22s. But there's also one other really clever design feature. G'day. There's also one other really clever design feature of these, and that is, where do they put the day heads? Well, with a little pull of this latch, here it is. Isn't that brilliant? So in here we've got an electric flush day head, we've got a little pull-up nozzle switch sink there, and there's also access to all your switching, and there's also here some storage spaces for you to put, you know, what it might be. I know you might want to throw some shoes in there, or toilet paper, tissues, or whatever you want. But that is a very clever little space, and I'm told there's about 5'9" of headroom in there when you're sitting down. So that's a really clever private little space, and a clever way to conceal a day head on a 22-foot boat. How good. So let's close that up. Let's close that up, and let's finish up by moving back to the helm. So that's the Axopar 22 T-top. What a cool little day boat. Thanks to Yachts for inviting me down to take a look and show you this boat. I love the Axopar range, they're fantastic. And if you like this, why don't you subscribe to the channel? We do these every single week. Like this video, share it with everyone who loves boats, just like you and I do. But I think that's it. We'll see you next week with another cool video. See you soon.